It is not thriving. It doesn't seem to want to thrive. I don't know. I've had it since we moved into this house. So, yeah, gosh, like 20, that was 2019. So it's been a while.
Hmm.
And I think there was some amount of time where it was actually like just a little bit, when we bought it, it was more thriving. And it is one of those plants that's supposed to be so easy to maintain. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
require a lot. And, you
And
know, and
here
yeah,
we are. You know what's
yeah.
so funny is like I've been working on trying to keep plants alive for probably 3 years now. Like every year, I'm like, this is the year that I'm going to keep plants alive. And this right now, I have more plants than I've ever had, and I have a grand total of four probably. But
Yeah.
this morning, I went into the area, the room that used to be my old office, and I had a snake plant there. And I realized since I switched locations in my office, like I hadn't watered that plant down there in a while. And like lo and behold, like two of the stalks were completely dead. So I'm hoping that the others stick around. I probably overcompensated with watering, but yeah.
That's the, yeah. I think that people who say that these plants are really easy to maintain are people who are already naturally good at keeping plants alive in their home and have some
Correct.
sort of aptitude for it, or like just like knowledge of like, well, of course you have to water it every 3 weeks and you can't put it in direct sunlight and it needs to get at least this much, I don't know, soil or mulch or whatever's happening there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like of the scale of plants, the spectrum, like snake plants are definitely on the easier to maintain side of it. But of course, like all plants require like, and I'm guilty of this where I'm like, oh, I guess I haven't watered this succulent in 3 months. And it's like, yes, even a succulent needs water
Right.
and like, sunlight and all, basic things. So yeah, it's a process. Well, I really like
It
the
is a
natural
process.
light, and I feel like this is a good. There's some good energy flowing from you here, so I support the relocation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest, the Substack video does us no favors whatsoever.
I'm
Like,
started on it. It's so bad.
uh, it's really, and then even during the recording, I'll be like, oh, okay, like, yeah, this seems to look all right. And then I look at the clips that are created and I'm like, wow, just
Yeah.
what is going on here?
I
And
I also
yeah,
feel like I'm so used to, like flipping, like with the selfie, like flipping it, but Substack
yeah.
doesn't do that. So when I look at myself, it's like it doesn't look exactly like me because it's, not it's the other side of
I
the.
didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. Okay, that also makes, maybe that's also why I'm so
Why you
thrown
look
off
different.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I notice it because of, I have the left side of my face is heavy from a nose ring and a mole. So like when I see myself and it looks the opposite of what I'm used to, I'm like, oh, that's so strange. Cause yeah. Anyway, that's part of it. That's what I'm sticking to. It has nothing to do with us not looking our best because we always look our best.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Nothing to do with us not being in like full hair and makeup on a weekday afternoon, you
Right.
know.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. How has your week been?
It's been good. It's been busy. The weekend was pretty busy. Obviously, Mother's Day on Sunday. We kept it pretty chill, but went to go see at my mom's request the new Michael movie, which is the Michael Jackson,
Oh,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, biography film. And it was like I've now just been listening to Michael Jackson's music because it's in my head so much. But it got really bad reviews. I know like the critics really hated it, but I and my family like we kind of loved it because it was just really entertaining. Like there was no, you didn't leave feeling like it was very superficial. Nothing, you didn't leave feeling like you learned anything particularly new or earth shattering. It definitely was not a complete look at his life. And I think almost like the lead actor and almost all of the executive producers are family members. So it was definitely like a family endorsed version of his story.
Sure.
That being said, the music was just like fantastic. The dancing, his nephew plays him, and that actor did an incredible job. So Yeah, I did that. And then also, oh, I took my mom, her birthday was earlier in the month. And so I took her to a head spa. Have you ever been to a head spa?
Yes, you were saying this Vietnamese head spa. But wait, I do want to say, in regards to the Michael movie, there is something to be said about a movie just being entertaining. And like, of course, it doesn't go into, it stops right before all of the sexual abuse allegations and the, which kind of, that is, Michael Jackson's legacy is so many things, but of course that is part of it. And at the same time, yeah, he made music that like defines what popular music is now, and everything that has come after him is like a direct, has a direct callback to what he did.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's something to be said for a movie just being entertaining. And like, I felt the
right.
same way about The Devil Wears Prada, where Devil Wears Prada 2, where there have been so many think pieces about like, oh, what does this mean for, you know, this is a reckoning for the state of journalism, and this is, you know, there's just a bunch of cameos and the story is preposterous. And I'm like, okay, those things can be varying degrees of true, but also this is just plain entertaining,
Just
and
fun.
I'm into
Yeah.
it for that reason.
I endorse that. There's just like, and I think it's always problematic when this is like anything that's like a tribute to a human usually ends up being very heavy on the positive and downplaying or completely ignoring, a lot of the really deeply problematic, concerning aspects of a person's life. And the Michael movie was certainly that. But I'm with you with all of the sort of heavy things happening in the news, in the world. There was something, again, the movie touches on a few complicated themes for sure. He has a fraught relationship with his father. There are definitely dynamics discussed in there that it's not all 100% just like feel good. But there was something really nice about it being so entertaining, easy to kind of follow. I mean, for me, a good sign of an entertaining movie is if I manage to not fall asleep, which,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I thought you were gonna say not look at your phone, but
Oh,
not falling asleep is also.
that's true for when I'm at home. Like if I don't look at my phone, but I went to the theaters for this, so I'm definitely not.
And you actually obey the rules, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily because it's a rule, but because I don't want to, be an asshole to other people
That
watching the
makes sense.
movie.
I
Yeah.
know it is so
Um,
annoying when someone does that, but yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so it was really entertaining. The music, like you said, just like such amazing, defining music and dance. Really nobody like him. So it was entertaining. It was family friendly. Like my parents who were in their 60s and 70s down to like my niece and nephew who are teenagers, like everyone loved it.
Love it. Love it. And then you went to a Vietnamese head spa.
And then I took my mom to a Vietnamese head spa for her birthday. It's my third time going to a head spa. I've been to this one before. And then I also, when I was in Japan, went to a Japanese head spa. And yeah, I love a head spa. It's something that I think I'm going to start. I think it's something I would try to do like once or twice a year, not like a super
Yeah.
frequent kind of activity, but like have you been to one before?
I have not. I've never even heard of this.
You haven't heard of a head spa?
I haven't
Gosh.
heard of it. I mean, I've heard of head massages, of course. I've
Yeah,
had great head massages. That's actually often my favorite thing. Or like even getting my hair cut or like blowout. Like, who doesn't love that head massage?
exactly. It's the best part about, getting your hair washed and cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they've actually brought entire spas and salon structures dedicated to just a head spa. I mean, this place also has like a nail spa attached, but I should study. I do not know like the full kind of cultural history behind it, but like I said, I went to one in Japan. This one is Vietnamese, so I'm sure there are slightly different, traditions amongst the different types of services each place, like depending on the country of origin, would offer. But the concept is basically just like a 75-minute head massage.
Wow.
But it's
Okay.
actually like, it's more than that. I mean, it's truly like a car wash for your head.
Oh my gosh.
Because like, and they also do a facial as well. So it's like your head broadly, but
Wow.
yeah, like you, they do like, I don't know well exactly what they're doing because obviously I can't see. But they, you're in a room laying down on like a bed with the sink, and then they put different kinds of like masks and treatments in your hair. Like I said, they do a facial, lots of good scalp massaging, and then they have this device. I mean, I'll send you a link like on Instagram or
Yeah.
TikTok, but it's basically like it automatically like goes up and down, and it has like a bunch of water spouts. So this is really the car wash part because it just
Oh
feels like a little like
wow.
controlled rain shower coming down
Wow.
on your scalp.
I can't believe I've never heard of this. Okay, this sounds like, yeah,
It's
heaven.
incredible. It's incredible, and it's so relaxing. Like every time I've done it, I've dozed off because I'm like
Yeah.
that relaxed in the space. And yeah, I mean, like they don't, at least the places that I've gone, none of them like, it's not like they're styling your hair afterwards. They'll just dry it so that it's
Okay.
comfortable to like leave the space with. So it's not like you have like some fancy hairdo or a blowout, but like it's there's something at like this idea that like some massaging your head and your scalp, especially when you have like huge head, like heads of
A
hair, and
lot
like
of hair. Yeah.
it's so relaxing. It's so relaxing.
It's so relaxing, and it's also one of those things where I tend to get very I'm a bit of a control freak about regular massages where I'm like, oh, they're not like there's not enough pressure, or there's too much pressure, or I don't like the way that the person is doing this. And sometimes there's really not sometimes there's not much that you can do to like every massage therapist has their own style, and at some point you just have to give into it and be okay.
Yes.
But there's something about a head massage where it doesn't matter who is doing it. It's always great. It's always great.
Exactly. Because there's just something, yeah. I mean, I don't know what, like, if there's some sort of biology about like the number of sensors, or maybe, it's
I think it's nerve endings.
yeah, nerve endings. That would make sense. I also feel like with body massages, like, here's what I'm going to say. Like when we work out, like if we're lifting weights, or I feel like we're aware of our body, like our muscles, in a way that like feels like we obviously can get sore, and it feels incredible to get a massage when you're sore, and like but it's like you're hyper aware of it because you're like working out, and so you're moving and using your arms and your legs and your back and your butt and all of those things. But like you don't think about your head that much, right? Like, because it's not like we're doing any kind of, there's no attention going to our scalp from like a pressure standpoint, other than when we
Totally.
like are washing our hair ourselves. So I think that's part of it too, is like you realize like, oh my God, like this area of my body doesn't get like that much attention or touch. And so to have, it was long, it was 75 minutes of just like really concentrated
Yeah, that
time
is
on.
a long time. That is a long time. Well, it has, according to one website, 230 nerve endings, high concentration, making it one of the most sensitive, sensory rich areas of the body.
There you go.
So, yeah, and you're right. Yeah. What else, unless you actively try to, you know, activate that
Activate.
area of your
Yeah.
body, it's not going to happen naturally.
I
There's
have I
there's
have
a
like a scrubber that I use in the shower, like a scalp
Oh
massager.
really?
Like, yeah, so after I shampoo, like to lather it up in scalp, I have a little massager, and it's pretty good. It sort of
Oh, I should get one of
not,
those.
yeah, I'll send you the link. It's not nearly the same as someone else doing it, but kind of makes you feel like it's
Sure.
better than your fingers. So
Wow. Okay. Well, AI says your scalp contains around 100,000 nerve endings. So between 230 and 100,000,
it's a lot.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a lot. So, uh, I had a type of shampoo once where the cap of the shampoo bottle had a little massager attached, and you were supposed to use that to massage it in. Nice idea. Did not really work in execution. So maybe the
Mm,
separate massager is the thing to do. And I gotta find a head massage place here because
yeah, there's
that, yeah,
just
or
Google
head spa
head
rather.
spa. You'll see that there's so many. I think like that a lot of them started, at least in Houston, popping up over the last few years, like maybe like 3 years or 4 years. So it's like a relatively new phenomenon. But yeah, you're gonna love it. You got to do it.
Stuff. Exciting stuff. I love that.
What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So yesterday was my 8th wedding anniversary. So
Yay!
yeah, yeah, it was great. It was very low key. I kept thinking about how it was very low key in a nice way compared to let's say our first wedding anniversary where we went to St. Bart's and had like a whole like it was a wonderful trip, and I was writing about St. Bart's, and I made these things happen at the same time so that we'd have a beautiful place to celebrate, and I'd have a professional reason to be there as well. But yeah, I was thinking about how I don't know. I think that in the past I've been driven to there's so much like there's so much hype around, especially on social media, around like okay, well, what are we going to share? What are we going to post? Like, what is the anniversary going to look like? And what's the right way to not memorialize, but sort of pay tribute to this relationship
Commemorate. Yes.
and yeah, commemorate this relationship. And God, it's also exhausting.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at, so one thing that, well, I was a bridesmaid at your wedding, which was
Yes, you were.
lovely, so beautiful. Would not have remembered the date of your wedding, except for the fact that your wedding planner is actually pretty good every year. I feel like she posts and wishes y'all a happy anniversary before you guys even like post publicly about
Yes,
it.
she does. And it's funny because the night before, Nikhil and I had a discussion, and he brought it up. He was like, "So, are you going to post anything?" And I was like, "Oh, I mean, I could. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't really thinking about doing one of those carousels with like
Yeah.
again, there's nothing against it, but to me it feels like if I'm having to like sort of force myself to do it because for whatever reason I'm just like laying a little bit low on social media at the moment, or just
Yeah.
not just that's not sort of top of mind, um then you don't want it to look like, oh gosh, well, the fact that you don't want the other person to think like, oh, does this mean that they're not happy about this? Or it's just so ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we even have to have these conversations. But he basically said it feels like it's like more about sort of professing your relationship to other people to have them like and validate it than actually just like loving your relationship and loving
Each
the
other.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yep,
Totally
totally.
fair.
So yeah, I'm like, all right. He's like, okay, if you don't post, I won't post. Great. And then of course, yeah, the day starts and Charlie is
Shout out, shout out to Charlie. She is on it. She definitely has a Google
oh,
calendar
she does.
reminder set.
She has a Google Calendar reminder set and a whole bunch of photos to post on the internet. And yeah, I was like, all right. And then Nikhil just like reposted it. I'm like, okay, well, now that that's happened, like, yeah, that's
we're,
I'm,
we're, we're
I'm not gonna
we're sharing with the people. Let the likes come in. Yeah.
exactly. What's the harm? Sure. And it was actually kind of, to go back through the Google Drive photos that I still have not printed out. I keep talking about framing or making an album, and just we talked about this on one of our other episodes. Just like we just don't set aside time to do those things,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that that has not happened yet, but it was nice to have a little walk down memory lane and go through some of the photos that I hadn't shared on Instagram before and like post some of that stuff. So yes, but that is not how we actually celebrated. We went to dinner at Osteria Mozza, which is my favorite Italian restaurant in LA. It's just what like maybe favorite restaurant period. Just in terms of like any night of the week you go there, you know it's going to have a nice ambiance, a great buzz. They know what they're doing. You're not going to leave hungry. In fact, I was so full that I had a hard time sleeping, which again, like I remember when we could just like have like 4 slices of pizza and then go to sleep at 2 a.m. and sleep for 10 hours. Like, yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. I even had like digestive tea once I got home and still. Yeah,
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you guys share a few things, or did you each get your own dish? So, like, what did you guys get?
We did share a few things. We shared it was a burrata. It was a derivative of a burrata with anchovies and tomatoes. They were like half sun-dried, half fresh.
Ooh.
Like sort of marinated. And then this incredible garlic bread that they make in house. And it's so like, good. Yeah, just like thick and has tons of like garlic and like the actual whole cloves and parsley. That was amazing. We split 2 pasta dishes. They did a linguine with clams that I love making linguine with clams. It's one of my kind of go-to like pasta summery recipes. And it's also, I'm a big believer of like, if I'm going to have pasta, it's got to be in the restaurant or it's got to be at home, because I think when you get it delivered.
Oh, I was about to say, where else do you have it? Okay.
No,
oh,
yeah,
you don't like Uber Eatsing pasta.
No, because I think that when it's not hot, unless it's like a, I don't know, pasta salad or something like that, that's a little bit, that's like a different category of food. But
who is ordering pasta salad through
Uber Eating pasta salad? I could see Uber Eating pasta salad as like a side for a picnic.
Okay, that might be the only time you're allowed to do that, but okay.
Like an old-fashioned macaroni, like mayo-y macaroni salad.
Ugh.
I have a soft spot for that too.
You've lost me.
But no, this linguine at Mozza was, it was so amazing. It was also one of those things where I love going to restaurants where I'm like, I can't do any of this stuff at home. I could like try to replicate it, but I wouldn't even have the idea of like making this kind of spicy, buttery tomato sauce, and there were like greens kind of stewed in there with the clams and the pancetta, and with an Italian red wine. It was absolutely divine.
That was
so good.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like a lovely anniversary celebration.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Bed. Yeah.
I'm certainly not against the idea of a anniversary trip or a vacation. Like, if it makes sense to like go away, if a trip is calling your name, like by all means go ahead and do it. But I remember that first anniversary approaching and feeling like, oh gosh, I have to like do something really do something really big. Yeah. And
I mean, you guys travel so much as a couple that, you know, like, and all of the places that you go are always really beautiful and interesting. And so, of course, like when it's your anniversary, there's like, but I don't even know that you would actually do anything that different. Like, you're still like, you know,
no, we wouldn't.
Enjoying dinners out and glasses of champagne or whatever. Do you guys exchange gifts?
You know what? We don't. I don't know that we ever have, actually. We were talking about and trying to remember, like, did we give each other anything that first time? Maybe. I think I actually, no, Nikhil may have bought me something in St. Bart's, but I'm like, was it that time or was it a different time? I'm not, and it definitely wasn't a sort of set, like Like, that was the only anniversary where I think we even contemplated seriously buying gifts or actually did buy gifts.
Yeah.
Every year since then, it's just been like, okay, great. Like, yeah, let's do something special given what our, like, schedules and time allows, but it doesn't have to be a blow the bank like type of vacation or
Yeah.
like,
I think
crazy
that's
celebration.
right. I mean, because at the end of the day, one of the things that our society does, like, that we do, and it's just sort of nonsensical, is like put a lot of pressure around moments that should be joyful and celebratory. And the result is that people get anxiety and stress, like just, planning something perfectly, thinking of the right gift, the financial burden involved with this stuff. And then it's like, okay, all of a sudden, like Christmas or someone's birthday, or like, instead of it being like, this is going to be like a fun, happy occasion, you're like, oh my God, I need to like figure out what to get them. I need to like make sure I get it in time. And then it's just like, okay, we've now put so much pressure on this thing that's supposed to just be like fun. And like so I think it's nice. I think anything that we can do to just like decrease pressure is, and there's some people that are really good at and really enjoy gifting. That is not me. Like, I get stressed. I over research. I never start the research in time. So I'm always like last minute running around. So yeah, I'm a supporter of mutual agreements not to gift, if that feels right.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of buying someone something when you see it and it strikes you as like, oh God, like I did this with my sister-in-law recently where I saw a wallet and was like, oh, Ruthie would love that. I'm going to get that for her. And yes, I could have waited for her birthday or an appropriate occasion to give it to her, but I was too excited to just like give the gift.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I
That's
the
awesome.
next time we saw each other, it was the this wallet from Anya Hinmark that looks like the sriracha bottle, or it has the print of the sriracha bottle. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're having to, there are certain things like I think birthdays
Yeah.
require a gift in my world. I think yes.
Do you count events or experiences as gifts, or no, it has to be like an actual physical item?
I do count events and experiences as gifts. I think more than anything, yes, a birthday, I want it to be recognized and feel special.
It's nice when someone has shows effort, whatever that looks like. Like if it shows
exactly.
Like if you didn't make you a meal, or if they get you a gift, or if you get like pampered, wined and dined, like whatever it is.
Showing effort is a big deal. Yeah,
showing effort like goes a long way. Yeah. Well, that sounds great. 8 years. Do you guys still celebrate your dating anniversary? What is your dating anniversary?
Our dating anniversary, I don't even know what our dating anniversary would be. And no, we do not. We do not celebrate it. I know, I saw it like someone else, someone that I'm friends with had posted a picture recently on Instagram that was like, oh, we're like out celebrating our dating anniversary. And I was like, oh, cool. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, whatever you can track, like, great.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, you end up like giving yourself more years. If years is a flex, then when we include the dating anniversary, then suddenly we're on like 12 or whatever it is. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. No, I think
well, you don't even know what yours is, so
it would be, I guess it would be like what, 3-ish years before, but yeah, there's I think remembering the one wedding anniversary, I'm glad that we both got that down. We're gonna keep it at that.
We will focus on that. Yeah, that's funny. That's also one of those things where, like, over time, like you said, one starts to it starts to fade. We have a lot of things to celebrate, so we don't need to keep adding to the list.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, one very unromantic thing we did last week is watch the LA mayor's debate.
That was last night or last
Oh,
week?
last week.
Last week. Okay.
Yes.
And there
Yeah,
are
that was last
so
week.
many people that are running for mayor.
Well, I think so. For governor, there are a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
For
maybe that's what I'm
mayor,
thinking of. Yes. Okay.
yeah, actually, so I think we turned it on to watch the governor's debate, and then realized that the mayoral debate had happened just prior. I'm not sure why they structured it like this. Like the mayoral debate was from like 5 to 7, and the gubernatorial was from maybe 7 to 9.
So how many people are running for mayor? Like 5?
3. Or
3.
well, the debate was just between 3.
Okay. Okay. And this is the race with Spencer Pratt.
This is the race that Spencer Pratt is in, and I was reading an editorial this morning about how whatever your feelings about him specifically and his politics and what he's running on, which is essentially like we got to get rid of homelessness and make the city safer. Like more than anything, like we need to make the city safer. And the current mayor, Karen Bass, doesn't deserve to be reelected because of how she mishandled the fires last year. That seems to be his entire platform. But the fact is that just watching this debate, because he is Spencer Pratt from the Hills, because he's a reality TV expert or a reality TV star participant personality, just someone who really knows how to play both victim and underdog. And I wouldn't say that he's like the best with quippy one-liners, but he does know how to make it look like he's winning, or like drop a zinger, or yeah, just kind of have a response that ends up making like a more sort of policy focused point seem boring, which is not, I'm not saying that this is a good thing whatsoever, but it's a fact that reality TV has gone beyond pop culture to now like influencing politics and the types of candidates that are succeeding that people want to vote for, because it's like, oh, they're talking to me in a language that I understand.
Yeah, that's very true. Spencer Pratt is really interesting. I mean, definitely did not watch every season of The Hills, but he was like kind of the villain character, right? He was the character. I mean, people didn't like him, and so it's really interesting to see someone who's sort of like universally disliked, at least as far as like their portrayal on the reality TV show goes. And that was obviously a really long time ago, but I feel like he kind of still was, on the fringes of the entertainment industry. But then to see someone like that, obviously you have a name recognition, at least amongst, some voters. And that's such a big part of an election, is making sure people know who you are and recognize your name. I mean, there are a lot of people that go to the polls and will vote purely on name recognition. Like, even though,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like, and that's the reason why there's so much money that's spent on yard signs and, mailers and these like calls. Like, think of like the calls that you get or all the yard signs you see, like half of them don't have anything related to platform, right? It's just the name to say like, here's the name, remember this face, remember this name. Like, and when you get to the polls, like that's who you will consciously or subconsciously like put in the ballot. So the name recognition piece obviously helps a lot, but it's also like one of the things that I think that editorial in the Wall Street, was it in the Wall Street?
I think it was the New York Times.
The New York Times. One of the things that editorial kind of touched on too is how, in a lot of ways, like politics and reality TV, you have to have really thick skin. Like, there's just
that's true.
So there's so much criticism, and now like a lot of politicking has become about like, exposing details of your private life and exposing, and like people are so curious and they're digging and they're digging. And like, if you have been on a reality TV show, you've already been subject to that. Like, how many reality TV stars have,
Sure.
had their tweets from their teenage years like disclosed and made public and kind of deal with that. And so I think I definitely think that like thick skin that you have to have for today's day and age of politics probably is a similar kind of skill that you have to have to succeed in reality TV.
Yeah, that reality TV almost kind of hones, like when you look at it from a certain at a certain angle. And again, I'm not advocating this, but you could almost say that like being a contestant on one of these reality TV shows is like a training ground. Like it almost, because it helps you deal with these kind of like people attacking your character, whether or not you deserve it, with having to like I don't know, on a competition show like Traders or Survivor, where you're having to take sides and make choices and sort of fight to win
Right.
at any cost. And that is kind of what what politics has become. People want like kind of voters inherently. I think voters want politicians that actually work and do what they say they're going to do. But in a debate, they want to be entertained to some degree or won over. And the reality is that now having, there was Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt and Nithya Raman who kept talking about the city's budget deficit, which I understand is a thing and is something that ought to be addressed. But when you have one candidate who's saying, I'm here to make sure people aren't getting stabbed on the street and make sure that there aren't people on meth hanging out next to a school, and you have another candidate who's saying, I think we need to balance the budget deficit. Like one message is going to seem more urgent and personal and just resonate more. And I don't know. I just feel like I think I do wonder if going forward this is just going to be, you're going to have these like memeable, clippable like types of candidates who just know how to work that. If you know how to work that system and win that kind of turf war, then can you just win the election?
Ugh, there's so,
despite having zero qualifications.
I was gonna say there's so many things that are wrong with that. I mean, messaging is obviously so important, and there are so many candidates that, I mean, that is a big problem, that a lot of candidates just don't have the right messages, or they're not delivering it. We're losing the messaging battle. Like, that is very real. I'm always shocked by like how little generally people seem to care about the how, so like when it's like, yes, the candidate needs to be able to say these words, and the messaging is what gets them elected. But part of, the goal is like, how are they going to achieve that messaging? How are they going to make the city safer? What experience, background, kind of like practical tools do they have to be able to effectuate whatever it is that they're saying they're going to do? And that's the piece that just like doesn't seem, there's so much focused on the messaging, because that's of course what, like you said, people seem to care the most about, and it resonates, that like people suddenly don't even seemingly care about the how. They're just like, oh, that's what I want, I'm going to do that. And it's like, well, does this person have the credentials, the know-how, the background to be able to like actually put this into effect in a way that actually works? And that gets overlooked. I mean, but also, I kind of also think this is an extension of influencing culture.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that has a lot to do with it too.
Because I think we've gotten to this place now where, like, reality TV stars, social media personalities, like, people trust them or are influenced by them in areas that are far outside of any proclaimed area of expertise. You know,
Sure.
it's like this is a reality TV star, and she's pretty and she has a lot of followers because she got, you know, she was a, you know, popular character on whatever TV show, and then now she has like makeup advice and skincare advice or exercise advice,
Right.
even though she has no kind of professional or educational background on it. People are buying, you know, the products that she's promoting, or they're following the workout plan or nutrition plan that she's like suggesting works for her because like they want to look like her. And I think that that is what is happening, and I think that that's going to probably result in, like you said, more of this crossover, because people, and we know now in the last, you know, several years, that in addition to like beauty advice and workout advice and nutrition advice, people are also taking political advice from, you know, a
Yeah.
lot of these influencers, and like what they have to say, and the candidates they support or the platforms they promote. So I think like this is, you know, another extension of that, is it's going from, you know, them promoting a certain type of cause or promoting certain kinds of issues to now being the candidate to like vote to change that issue. And yeah, it's just people have started to they've started to have a very different kind of internal calculus of who we take advice from and who shapes our like
Right.
opinions.
Right, right. It's like this is a familiar face, and even if I didn't like them on that show or I didn't watch that show, they seem to know how to talk to me. They seem to know how to like get a point across. That the how is never addressed. It's or never addressed in a way that actually makes actionable sense. And it's just I think with Spencer Pratt in particular, because his story is that he and his parents lost their homes in the fires, and that is what has compelled him to run. It's a really
Mm-hmm.
sellable platform. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this is, you know, just a regular guy like the rest of us who was damaged by this fire irrevocably and now wants to do something to save our city, and is not an establishment politician, which is now many people consider to be a good thing, that they're
Right.
not, you know, not the status quo. But yeah, it's a very it's I do think influencing culture and the parasocial relationship trend of just like whether you like them or not, you just see these faces and you know the names, and then it's like, oh yeah, they've been like sort of in the ether for so long, and now they're running for office. Maybe I should pay attention. Where versus like a politician whose name you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
who you've never
Yeah.
heard of, who is just not doesn't have the same kind of media footprint.
Yeah, and I think that's what's crazy is that because he wasn't, you know, he wasn't, because he wasn't universally liked, like his media footprint is sort of controversial. You know, he has
Yeah,
one, but like it starts this like, I mean, and we have obviously other elected officials that have controversial
of
media
course.
footprints. And so
Yeah,
then like you can imagine for somebody who has like a more favorable media footprint, it would probably be that much, you know, easier because you really like get to know them and you like them, and then they're running for office and you're like, well, then I'll vote for you. But it feels like also like these races are feeling like high school student elections.
it
You know
really,
what I mean? Like,
truly,
but
the had a lot of like high school student debate flavor. I mean, I
yeah,
would probably be a lot better. Like, would be able to state their platforms and the how a lot more clearly than the folks in this debate did. But you know,
oh man,
yeah,
yeah, because like it feels a lot. It feels like all of these candidates and all of these elections, you know, but are just like caricatures of the different, you know, it's like you have the popular jock, you have the like, you know, really smart nerd, you have the, you know, you have all these different like character types, and
yeah.
uh it's yeah, kind of, it's kind of crazy to see how this is playing out. So I guess I saw a lot of polls said that people thought he won the debate.
Yeah, yeah, because I think that to be honest, I think that Karen Bass and Nithya Raman, the other two candidates, are they're almost too aligned on a lot of their issues. Or there's, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in November. Yeah,
Is
I
he
don't think
with Heidi Montag?
he is. They have two kids together. Yeah, yeah, and they're still together.
Oh,
They're still together.
interesting. And a
Yeah.
lot of, I mean, I think I saw that he's gotten endorsements from kind of, or been supported by sort of some big players, right? Like Jeannie Buss gave the max donation to Spencer Pratt.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think, and the editorial said this as well. I think that he is talking about safety in a way that truly, like, myself included, that people do feel unsafe walking alone late at night. It doesn't really matter what neighborhood you're in. I mean, the home invasions in Los Angeles have also gotten just crazy and out of control, and it almost like doesn't matter if you have like cameras or private security or whatever it is. Like, if someone really wants to like break into your house, they're going to find a way to do that. And yeah, I think he's speaking to a fear that people at every level feel, and fear is really powerful.
Fear is very powerful. I mean, safety is important. Of course, I think too often, like, people just have that messaging and don't talk about like the how they're going to achieve it. And that's like such a critical part, because there are lots of ways to try to achieve safety, and not all of them are created equal, and many of them like can come with more harm than good.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like you said, he's capitalizing on the messaging. So if that's a critical part of being an effective candidate, which it is, it's like this came up a lot during the last presidential election, but the difference between being a political candidate versus being the politician,
very different.
To campaign for a spot is very different than the skill sets required to be good at the spot. And ideally you have someone who can do both, who's an effective campaigner, but would also be an effective leader, has like the background, the expertise, the vision, like for the role if they were to get it. But you can only get the role if you're good at the campaign. So
it's true. Yeah. It's true. There's a lot of faking it till you make it happening there. A lot of that.
I love that you guys are watching all of
this. Oh yeah, we're engaged.
Yeah.
we're very locked into this. We're watching it all play out. I know we don't have a ton of time left, but I did want to get, and I'm sure this is something that we'll be talking about more if the case actually goes to trial. But the story of the Wall Street analyst who filed this lawsuit claiming sexual assault by a woman who was senior to him, and the details that are just so wild I mean, it's been a subject of satire and been parodied all over social media. His name is Chiaru Reina, and yeah, he was a banker at JP Morgan, and yeah, he is saying some pretty damning things.
Yeah, I haven't read the actual lawsuit, but I've definitely seen some quotes, and like the sort of, that's, I feel like, the most like salacious and also kind of hilarious like fodder for social media, or some of the like there are a lot of direct quotes of what he is claiming the woman who assaulted him or harassed him, like the different things that she said
never forget, I effing own you. I bet your little Asian fish head wife doesn't have these cannons. What kind of no woman is using the word cannons in that way. It's just not happening. I cannot imagine anyone saying that. And it sounds kind of ridiculous. And then more has come out about him and his kind of track record with various different banks, with saying that his father had passed away, but then his father is still alive and he got all this time off and apparently used the time off to ask ChatGPT how to file a lawsuit against against his employer, like what it would take to win a sexual assault case. And in spite of all of this, JP Morgan offered him $1 million to settle, and he didn't take it. And so, and some people are saying, well, they wouldn't offer him money to settle if there weren't some truth to the allegations. And other people have said, well, I mean, for a huge bank like this or any corporate company, like that is a drop in the bucket, and they would rather pay that than have this saga now come out publicly and
Totally.
and now be the subject of ridicule. So I guess I'm just curious, like what stuff, like can anyone just like say like, oh, so and so sexually harassed me, I'm going to file this lawsuit and do it under a pseudonym, and all the witnesses will also, their names will be redacted, and I'm just going to seek like $22 million in damages?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is crazy for so many different reasons. But I mean, I haven't read the lawsuit, so maybe like before next week's episode, I'll take a quick look at it. And it's in New York State court. But yeah, so he originally filed the lawsuit as like under an anonymous name, like John Doe, and like a week later filed it again, refiled it under his real name. But then the two affidavits of witnesses who say that they saw this coworker, female coworker, touch him inappropriately or do something inappropriate were written anonymously. I mean, the truth is like a lot of times in the system, like the court or the jury, depending on, what type of case it is, like they are the fact finders. So
I see.
So it's one side says one thing, another side says another. Like, I do criminal cases. And so in a criminal case, the state is saying a person did A, B, or C. And then the defense is saying, you're wrong, or no, you didn't, or whatever. And so what is the truth is up to the judge or the jury or whoever the fact finder is. So yeah, like, you can have, there's no sort of threshold. I mean, there's certain kinds of like legal requirements to file a lawsuit. Like you have to file it in the right kind of location and venue and jurisdiction. You have to make a claim. Like I can't just file a lawsuit saying, I hate so-and-so. Like that's not a legal claim. Like there has to actually be some kind of law violation in place, et cetera. But there's no expectation or requirement that you like meet any kind of threshold of proof in terms of a civil lawsuit, really, like beyond
when you're filing it.
Yeah, beyond like the accusations, right? On the criminal side, there's a little bit more. It's just like probable cause, but it's not proof beyond reasonable doubt. So if you're like, oh, I saw somebody doing A, B, or C, that's usually enough to be like, okay, you can file it, even though it may not actually be, proof that would reach like a guilty verdict kind of level of proof. All of that to say that, yeah, like there are a few things about this that are really interesting. I mean, the first, like you said, is that like, however it happened, like this lawsuit became viral, right? Like, there are millions of lawsuits filed that we never hear about that like don't get any sort of attention. This one did. And the result is like I think one of the articles I was reading, like the reporter had done like a full deep dive into this man's like history, like interviewing like former soccer buddies, like it's like now that this is public and viral, it is like people are like really digging deep into all of the characters involved, and that's kind of hilarious, right? Because it's like they're interviewing his like high school buddies, like,
and it's also because and we've heard many cases of women who are reporting to men in the workplace and who have filed similar sexual assault claims and won, and that like the entire Me Too era was all about that. We have not heard, and especially, I don't know if we have heard ever in like in the Wall Street finance sphere of a woman of a reversal where a male analyst is saying that a female peer or she wasn't his boss, so it wasn't that. I think that they were more like coworkers, but to claim that a woman again to claim that a woman would be so not bold is part of it, but just it's just not something that we've ever heard.
It's not something we've heard. And I think that's what adds some of the like, you know, juiciness to it, the salaciousness, like the specifics, the wild antics of the accusations, like all of that, you know, whoever first saw this, whether it was like a colleague at JP Morgan or someone familiar with the courts that was like, we got to like start reporting on this or making this trend. This is hilarious. Like, this is fascinating. They were onto something, because there's a reason why so many people have like read about this story. It reminds me a little bit of that the Coldplay kiss cam incident.
Oh gosh,
like for very different reasons. But the idea being that, like, with the way the internet is now, like anything that you do or anything that you're involved in, even if it's not voluntary, like if you're named in a lawsuit, even, you know, if you're not the one filing it, like it will live, there's a potential for it to live in infamy on the internet, right? Yeah. Like in so many cases, these lawsuits are filed and like no one ever knows it. None of us hear about them. Like if we Google the people involved, maybe we would get one hit from like the court website that this case exists. But if you Google this guy Chirayu, or you Google the woman, I don't remember her name, like, you know, you're going to get 300, more than that probably, links to stories and videos and things about them. And it's like, this will, just like with those Coldplay concert people, like it'll live in the internet forever. And like
it lives in the internet for, there are companies that will, I remember I talked to the founder of one a long time ago. It was like when this was first becoming an issue, maybe like 15 or 20 years ago, called Reputation Defender. And their whole thing was that if there's, say you've been arrested, or you have like, there's stuff that if your name is searched on Google, you'll get a bunch of results. And like in the first page of results, there's something that like you just don't want people to see. So they would basically figure out a way to, like, they can't get rid of it. They could contact the site administrator, depending on what it is, and like try to pay them off or try to compel them to take down the post. But the thing that they did more often was just like push it down in search rankings through their own proprietary methods, which I'm sure involved like creating fake websites with your name on them and like, positive things about you. Or, I mean, I'm sure now with AI and bots and all of that, you could do something. But I mean, with something like this, or the Coldplay kiss cam, like that, it impacts your life in a way that, like, there's a before and then there's after you're meme famous. And it's I do not envy, I don't envy anyone in this entire mess. I mean, it just sounds, I'm eager to see it, if it actually goes to trial, which I think May 26th, they said. Preliminary hearing scheduled for May 26th.
So it would be a while, maybe, I don't know, before it actually went to trial. But it'll be interesting to see if like it ends up settling for, I mean, they offered $1 million before, like, you know, it became such a public lawsuit. And they did an internal investigation, and usually those will involve, you know, like interviewing people and like reviewing emails and stuff. And JP Morgan is saying they stand by the woman and didn't, you know, believe she did anything wrong. But yeah, I mean, we shall see. It's
talk
crazy.
About reputation damage, on all fronts. And no, we shall see. It would make a great would make a great series.
Oh, I'm sure. What's his name? Ryan Murphy is probably all over it, or
already scripting this. Yeah,
I'm sure there will
already
be
coming
some.
up with the treatment.
We just need to figure out who would play. Is he South Asian?
Yeah, he's
okay.
Nepalese.
Okay, need to figure out who would play him in the made-for-TV version.
Oh man. I look forward to it. And yeah. More next week.
More next week. Good chatting.
Great chatting as always. Love you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.